An angry inmate with tattooed back and strong biceps is the terror of most fellow prisoners in a U.S. jail. He has held on to hatred in his heart for the entire 10 years in prison. He trained for 10 years to avenge his first enemy and his brother. The warden advised him to let go of his hatred. Facing the warden's constant chattering, the man only had eyes for the clock on the wall and then said a sentence. The man left the prison gate with a domineering name, Brother Chang. His destination was unknown. He ran to an abandoned auto repair shop, searched for it, and finally stopped in a corner to pull open the white canvas. He got into the car and took out the prepared information. The man in the photo was his first target of revenge. He took out a big revolver from under the seat and finally put his brother's photo on the sun visor. It was natural to hang it. He stepped on the floor and rushed out with his feet greasy. Brother Chang walked into a company and found the man with glasses in the photo. He shot him in the head without hesitation. Brother Chang, the first enemy, entered a detective agency and found his partner from 10 years ago. He bought the remaining enemies, but the boss started a business by hiring a Sonda champion. He thought Brother Chang would pay the money obediently, but when the two were confronting each other, the other party suddenly became cowardly and repeatedly confirmed the tattoo on Brother Chang's arm, and then fled in shame because he knew that the letters on the tattoo were all people killed by Brother Chang. The boss smiled and handed over the information to him. Brother Chang was in the car. He reviewed the video repeatedly, then selected the next target and left. Meanwhile, the police identified Brother Chang from the video footage. 10 years ago, he and his brother took part in a robbery. He drove the car to pick up the robbers. With his superb skills, he successfully escaped the police's pursuit. The good times did not last long. They were robbed by another group of people. They not only stole the bank's money, but also murdered their own brother. An old man recorded the entire process on video. The employer's identity, the top killer in the area, was very mysterious. He only sent a photo. The muscle maniac Chang was the richest man in the United States, only doing a small business of killing people. Only a few sports cars were parked in the garage. The assistant was a beautiful woman. He got a difficult job that day. Assassin mission. The photo seems familiar. First, randomly pick a false identity. The assistant opens the armory and chooses some of the most potent firearms. Then, according to the employer's instructions, go to the destination and wait quietly. But Brother Chang has already arrived here. He didn't expect that the other party also came to kill people, but their targets were different. Brother Chang's target was the wretched old man in the information. He often uses dementia as an excuse to deceive those kind-hearted girls into sending him back. He gave the drug drink to the girl and filmed every crime. When another little girl was killed that day, Brother Chang kicked the door open. The old man recognized Brother Chang and was terrified. He tried to pick up the scissors to resist but was shot through the palm. Seeing Brother Chang approaching, the old man began to beg. Brother Chang never said anything nonsense and shot him in the head to get rid of his sesame pest for the society. The killer appeared behind Brother Chang just as he was about to leave. A little girl suddenly walked out of the room, and Brother Chang noticed the killer in time. The killer shocked and pushed the girl back into the room, then used a big gun to silence her. He never expected the opponent to be so fierce this time. Shortly after, when the killer was about to counterattack, Brother Chang had already gone downstairs to photograph sports cars and went to Yangchang. 2 consecutive shootings attracted the attention of the local phobole. They conducted an in-depth investigation and found that this was the gang of robbers who robbed the bank that year. The investigation showed that Brother Chang was shot in the head. Even the doctor announced that Brother Chang was dead, but on the next day he sat up from the operating table. At night, he came to a nightclub. The bodyguard who was checking security at the door did not know that he had been stared at. Brother Chang's elder brother was the one he killed. Brother Chang followed him to the bathroom. The other party also identified Brother Chang and understood that only one person could leave alive tonight upon seeing him produce the dagger. The two began to circle around. The black man was a little confused. Why couldn't he survive 2 moves? He didn't know how Brother Chang had survived the past 5 years. In the end, the black man was defeated. He only asked Brother Chang to let his family go and said that he was just taking money to do things for others. He closed his eyes, and Brother Chang drove away. The scene was ready to continue the revenge, but on the way, the radio broadcast that the black man was sent to the hospital for emergency treatment. Upon hearing this, Brother Chang quickly turned the wheel, drifted, and then headed straight to the hospital. The sheriff received news that the black man was alive and immediately went to the hospital to ambush, but Chang brother entered the hospital first. He located the operating room via the billboard and shot the murderer who was being rescued. The gunshot immediately alerted the sheriff. When he arrived at the operating room, Brother Chang had already disappeared. With the guidance of the nurse, he chased all the way to the basement and was shot twice after aiming. Brother Chang swiftly retaliated, shooting and damaging the electric box, causing the opponent to lose visibility. He reloaded the bullets while thinking Brother Chang had left, then carefully went up. He looked ahead, but didn't anticipate Brother Chang's sudden appearance. The cold gun was aimed at his forehead. Facing Brother Chang, who had killed many people, the sheriff dropped his pistol and knelt on the ground. Brother Chang saw the badge on his waist and finally let him go. After starting the car, he quickly left. The killer received the intelligence and chased him again. Brother Chang saw the car behind him through the rearview mirror. He floored the gas pedal to accelerate and speed away, playing with passion on the road. This was a game of life. In a duel, a car crash can lead to death. In order to get rid of the killer, Brother Chang took a risk. Brother Chang aimed his gun at the killer as a large truck roared past, but he refrained from killing him. He shot the other party's car platform and then shot Brother Chang in the neck. Brother Chang hurriedly drove away and treated the wound with the help of his mother. When he came to the only photo of him at home, memories suddenly came to his mind. Fresh out of prison, he sought revenge and took down 3 enemies in as many days. He was going to find the last enemy for his brother at the church. Chang's target was the host giving a crazy speech on the stage. He is now a beloved pastor, having left the organization to cleanse his sins. When he saw Chang, his expression froze immediately. 10 years ago, although he was just on guard duty, he was a soldier, and he still took part in the operation. He knew that Brother Chang would come for revenge and was ready to die. Facing Brother Chang's pistol, the priest faced it calmly. Brother Chang ultimately fired into the air, releasing his hatred and opting for forgiveness. He hoped that the priest could help more people to return to the right path. Brother Chang sat in the church and looked at his brother's photo. He felt relieved. The revenge was taken and the anger dissipated. The smoke suddenly aimed the cold gun at Brother Chang's head. It turned out that he had always been the killer who wanted to kill him told Brother Chang that the matter was not over. The sheriff arrived as soon as he finished speaking. Under the sheriff's threat, the killer had to put down his weapon, but then he shot Brother Chang. The sheriff was the mastermind behind the gangster-eating gangster scheme. He also shot Brother Chang in the same manner 10 years ago. Brother Chang, the killer, was surprised to discover that the employer was the sheriff. It was the sheriff's usual practice. The killer kept failing, so he decided to solve the problem himself. When they saw Brother Chang lying on the ground, they left the scene together. The sheriff was in a good mood at that time, but the next second, the sheriff looked at Brother Chang in disbelief. It turned out that it was a piece of metal that blocked the bullet for him. In order to help Brother Chang refill the bullet, the doctor installed a high-quality metal film. Fate has its own plan. The brother's ashes are scattered into the river and allowed to drift away with it. The movie ends here. The protagonist understands the concept of good and evil. The format principle is that if you are a good person, you will never be wronged, and if you are an enemy, you will never let it go. Recommended friends watch the original movie.